And hello, welcome to this edition of Contractors Conversation. And we have with us Zarika Lindsay. She's our mental health expert who's joining us with this conversation. How are you doing?
I am doing good. I'm breathing, I'm living, I'm doing good.
I thought this was a much needed conversation. I had on previous conversation with a coach. We were talking about the behind the scenes. We kind of like pulled back the curtain and peeked behind the scenes of what it really takes to build a business. And I felt it was necessary to bring in a mental health expert to talk about what it takes to maintain mental health, what it looks like to recognize the signs of when you need to talk to a friend versus a mental health expert. And sometimes we want to make our friends our experts, and we shouldn't.
No.
But let's backpedal a little bit. Tell us a little about you.
I have a master's in social work. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and approved clinical supervisor, so I can supervise LSWs for licensure, for full licensure.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
I have worked, I'll give a little. Went to Rutgers, RU, Camden. I've been in the social work field for maybe about 15 years now. I've worked out every capacity, homeless, children, elderly, you name it, I've probably done it. I was a director for 2 major programs that worked with people with chronic and persistent mental illness, such as like bipolar disorder, schizophrenia. My last position was an IOP therapist. And then I left that job to start the private practice full time.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what? I think I need to bring you back to discuss something else, but my mind is just going a different direction. So let me stay focused.
Yeah, I quit my job in the middle of the pandemic.
So, and that's what we call pivoting. But let me stay focused because you're gonna have me going a whole nother direction. But building a business takes a whole lot of intestinal fortitude. And it can be a little lonely at times. It can be heart-wrenching at times, especially when things don't go right.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we want to do this whole, especially us as women, we like to put on our capes and we want to be super women and we can do all things. We want to be the boss chick and we want to build the business and run the family and be a woman, a superwoman and be a wife. And then we want to
boss lady.
Run to our friend and we want to be the boss friend. And then those of us who participate at church, we want to be the super choir member. And we don't often recognize the signs
of being burnt
that
out.
We're doing too much. And we're cracking at seams.
Yes.
And I know I wasn't cracking, I was fracturing, and it took a toll on my health before it took a toll on my mental health.
And I don't think a lot of people realize stress comes out a lot more as physical symptoms. I would get a crease in my neck. When I was a director, it was a constant pain. Because I was so stressed out, just constant. And a lot of people don't realize intestinal problems. Stress comes out physically. Takes a toll on your body. So that
pain in your gut is really your emotions telling you.
Go talk to somebody, yeah.
And that somebody isn't always your best friend.
No. And I always say people really should have a therapist just because. I have a therapist that I see weekly. And I always tell people because they're shocked and I'm like, well, why would you be shocked? If I'm telling you that therapy works, why would I not go to therapy?
Now, you know what? Let's back
I
up
want
a
to be an
little bit.
example. Like, trying to be an example.
Let's back this conversation up just a little bit. Because I think there's a stigma around therapy. We imagine padded cells and let's just be honest. Therapy has a stigma, especially with women, especially
Women of color,
in the minority communities.
Men.
There's just a stigma around therapy.
Men of color. Men of color. It's a very big stigma. And in people of color in general, we're always just kind of been raised and taught to kind of like put your big girl panties on and deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I made an example at the Martin Luther King event and about Damar Hamlin when he basically died on the field, and there's like grown men just crying, distraught. And a lot of people expected them to go take a 5-minute break and go suit back up.
That was horrible.
I was traumatized. Like, I'm sitting at home crying. I don't even know this boy. And I'm sitting here like, those are his teammates, his friends. And they just watched him die on the field, and they're trying to bring him back. But a lot of people expected them to go take a 5-minute break, go suit up, and go back out there. Put your big girl panties on and just deal with it. That's America.
And if we expect that of athletes, what are we expecting of ourselves?
Mm-hmm. We expect the same thing. We just got to deal with it, just tough it up, just suck it up, just keep going. And you need to release that. And the beauty of a therapist is whatever happens, whatever you say, you don't ever have to worry about it getting out.
No judgment.
And when you talk to your friends, might be out like within an hour. Some of your business might be out there. But with a therapist, that's a no-no. We don't do that. So you have that safety to kind of just do what, say whatever.
I'm gonna touch on that, because there have been times people have confided in me, and I'm like, I don't want to know that. Or I've had friends, I've been in situations where I'm like, I don't want to be the middle person. Mm-hmm. This is for somebody that has a license that can prescribe some medication. We need to be calling somebody with some handcuffs for this person, and somebody who could prescribe some medication for you. It places your friends in a bad position.
Yes.
And it places you in a position where you can't get healing. And then life is still going on for everybody involved.
And that's the difficult part, because I have to be the one. I got to take the therapist hat off, but it's sometimes hard, because if a friend comes to me and says, I'm going to hurt myself, I gotta do something. By law, I have to. Like, I can't be your friend in certain situations.
That's that mandatory reporting?
Mandatory reporting. I have to. And that part is like and that's one thing, like I tell my clients when they first come in, it's like, I have my little thing, my spiel, this form is if, everything you say to me is confidential, but if you're going to hurt yourself, others are property, I have to report it. But my clients know there's certain reporting, and when you have licensing, you still got to be kind of careful if somebody comes to me and says, I just don't want to be here anymore. Then people can have those thoughts, but they're not suicidal per se, and with a plan. So that's kind of very hard for me to kind of, okay, I got to judge, I got to talk, I got to figure out, is this person really going to hurt themselves, or are they just feeling really depressed right now?
And you know what? I need to walk. You know what? We're going to walk this conversation way, way, way back a little bit.
We're going to probably be all over the place.
The conversation back. Walk it all the way. And we're going to start at square A, scenario A.
Okay.
And I'm going to be the guinea pig. I'm an entrepreneur year 5 in my business. And things aren't going right. Voila. Or they're starting to get traction, but the traction is like being on slushy ice. You're in New Jersey, you know what that's like.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of, the front wheel is going to the right, but the back wheel is going to the left at the same time.
And you're just spinning. You're spinning.
You're spinning. And you feel like you're in isolation.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to pick up that phone. However, as in a previous episode, you have your business friends and you have your friends, but you don't know who you should call. Your advice would be?
This is hard for me because a lot of my friends are therapists, so we kind of call each other kind of like, But that's why I say people really should have a therapist that they see either weekly or bi-weekly.
And you would be amazed, every coach that I follow, the coach I have, you know, her first advice when I first met her, when I started my business back in 2011, back in 2013, the first piece of advice she gave me was to get a therapist.
Yeah. And especially like in my business, having a private practice as a therapist, and people look at me crazy when they're like, you have a therapist and you're a therapist? And I'm like, can you imagine? At one point I had 70 clients. In the height of the pandemic, I had 70 clients. So can you imagine if I'm seeing 7, 8 people a day and everything is trauma, he beat me, I got raped, I got molested, I'm intaking a lot of energy, a lot. And I can't pick up the phone and call my friends and say, oh my God, because then I'm violating HIPAA. I got to talk to my therapist.
Wow.
And a lot of times I don't want to put that on other people either, because they might be going through something. Like I have one girlfriend, when she calls and she needs to vent, the first thing she'll say is, do you have emotional space for me? And I kind of say, thank you. Because she kind of like, I know you've been dealing with a lot today. So do you have a little emotional space for me right now? And I can kind of say, yeah or no, that gives me an option. But I think everybody should have a therapist. And people always think you come to therapy because we want to hear great stuff. I love when my clients come with great news and changes and, I think this is great and this is happening. I love it.
Now, I don't think, you know what? I never thought to share good things with a therapist.
Mm-hmm. I share all the great, thank God. I didn't share nothing but great with my therapist. Like, yeah, we want to hear the great things. We want to see all that change, that work you done put in.
That's interesting.
That's why I said it's not always about, I'm in crisis. Therapy is preventative. We started as preventative, not having therapy as an intervention. Prevention, not intervention. So you don't have to get to that crisis part.
Oh, okay. So reframing therapy to reframe therapy, to reframe mental health, we should view mental health as something we should maintain,
mm-hmm.
just like we maintain our physical health.
Like you go to get your physical, your mammograms, your pap smears, all that. You do all that. Mental health is the same thing. Same exact thing.
I never thought about it that way. Wow. I never thought about it that way.
Yep.
Now I'm getting ready to put you on the spot.
Put me on. Put me on.
And like I said, a lot of us out here are building businesses as the Lone Ranger. I don't know why. But I do know why. Because we have a society that tells us that we're not pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps, we're not working hard.
We're not working hard.
I do not know why we glorify struggle love and we glorify struggle business building. We just glorify struggle. I don't know why. I took my cape off and burned it.
And doing too much. We've glorified. If you're not super busy, if you don't have 18 different things you're taking on, then you're just not, you're lazy.
And that even represents itself in our sitcoms. How many of us remember the Wayans brothers skit, Hey Mom?
Yeah.
They made a joke out of it.
Yep.
Everybody had 25 jobs. They made a joke of it, but our society really glorifies that. But that's mental abuse. We're mentally abusing ourselves and then wonder why we're fracturing at the seams.
And I was one of those that I was at the job at 4 something in the morning and worked sometimes until 1 o'clock. I was there on holidays when people that worked with me, they will tell you. It was all day, every day, work. Crazy. I was crazy. I was hurting. Just nuts. I do work super hard with my practice, but it's mine. But I have found the balance too. It's kind of like I had to find a balance. Starting out, yeah, it was hustle. But now it's kind of like okay, I know where I'm at now. I'm at a certain level. I can keep it this way. I'm good to go.
You sound like my hairdresser. He was like, I asked him, are you taking any new clients? He was like, no. What I have now sustains the life that I want. And I don't want that rat race. He said, I love my mental peace. And that's actually what kind of sparked this conversation. I was like, I need somebody to talk about mental peace. And then I thought about you.
It's hard, like with me, not to, I've struggled with that part because people call crying and I'm like, okay, I'll help you. I got 80 clients, but I'll help you. And it's like, I can't take any more people. And so now I'm really learning how to say no. I can't. Like I have like a list of other therapists, and I'm like, try this one, try that one. But that part I kind of struggle with because people, I'm like, okay, I want to help you. Like I want to help, but I had to really, really like nip that in the bud. But I had one of my old professors called me, and she said, she wanted me to do an RFP for women coming out of prison. And I would, set them up with programs and stuff like that in South Jersey area. And I was like, oh, that sounds nice. And she was like, I said, but no, I'm good. She was like, you'll be reporting to me and the Attorney General. I said, I heard what you said, but I said, you know what I'm doing right now? I said, I'm Netflix and chilling. I said, I've never Netflix and chilled.
Oh, wow.
And it feels really good. I was like, this feels good to just lay on the couch and burn some brain cells watching Netflix. I'm okay with it. Like I always tell people, what more do you have to prove? What are you trying to prove? Do you need to do this for you? Are you doing this for someone else? Like, what is your main reason for just overworking yourself to death?
That's freedom right there. What do you have to prove, and who are you proving it to?
I said, I've done all that. I've done it. And now I'm passing the torch to other people. I don't want to do it anymore. I want to do my practice. I want to teach, and I'm good to go.
You're a teacher?
I teach at Rowan College. I teach sociology at Rowan College.
Wow.
And that decision, because I taught before, and it was kind of like I love teaching, and it's like a monotony sometimes with therapy. It's like therapy all day, every day, all day, every day. And I'm like, I got to break this up. So sometimes when you're in business, you got to kind of know yourself, know what's going on, kind of like, okay, I got to do something different. And I think that's the hit and miss with businesses. You got to know, it's like, okay, I got to do something different. That didn't work. Let me do something different.
And you need to know when the difference is up leveling versus quitting versus transition.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't recognize the cues if you're mentally exhausted.
Yes. It is very imperative. And I tell my clients sometimes, like, exercise, eating right, sleep, certain amount of sleep is important, exercise, eating right, because that plays a part in your mental health too. That's about 8 hours, sleep 6 to 7 hours, hour at the gym, maybe like hour, maybe a just meditation, reading a book. That's like only about 9 hours out of your day, not 10 hours out of your day. How long do we spend sitting on TikTok? TikToxic, I call it TikToxic.
That's true.
Scrolling through reels on Facebook. We spend a lot of non-cynical time when we could be doing something productive for ourselves. A little self-care.
And social media can be toxic.
Yes.
Let's just keep that real. And social media is not your therapist.
No.
It's not your friend.
No.
And a lot of people need mental therapy because of social media.
And I see people post and I just be like, please call a therapist. This is something you don't want advice from just everybody. Go talk to a therapist.
I see business posts on social media like, you going to jail behind that. Don't take that. So I can imagine what you feel.
I'll just be like, oh, talk to a therapist. Nothing wrong. And it's especially church folks. Put it out there. I always tell people, you can have God and a therapist. It's okay. It's okay.
You know what? One of my business mentors is a pastor. And in our session last night, he addressed that. One of his coaches is actually a counselor. And she was talking about, she honestly believed God put therapists on this earth. She said,
he was busy. He said,
feeling like,
let me make therapists.
God's going to come down here and heal your,
yes.
and heal your depression. She's like, no, he gave us gifting. She's like, there's that therapist right there. He done put that therapist in your life right there. Go talk to them.
Yes. It's like he was busy. That's why he created us.
There you go.
It's like, it's okay.
The answer's right there. Go call that therapist.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of times, I love this segue because the coach I had on, she's a Christian coach.
Mm-hmm.
And and my business mentor, he's a pastor. He was like, a lot of us have to unlearn toxic religiosity.
Yeah.
That's not biblical. It's somebody's opinion that they slapped the Bible title on.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who are like listening to this podcast, like, how did we get here? Because there are Christian business owners that need to hear this. And if it's not for you, that's okay.
That's okay.
Listen anyway. Whatever. If you call them universe, that's fine. We call them God. Just keep on listening. This is still for you. You got to retrain people to focus.
And I have a wide and my practice is called agape healing work. So agape is, unconditional. Mm-hmm. It doesn't judge. I give you my everything. You come to me as you are.
Yes.
It's like Planet Fitness, judgment-free zone. Judgment-free. I have had people who are atheists, clients that are atheists, Jehovah's Witness, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, polyamorous, gay, transgender. I take everybody. Besides little kids. I don't do little kids. Got to be preteen.
Oh, you don't do kids?
No. Teenagers. No. That's the only thing I... But, and it's a good thing to where it's like, I can talk to people who are Jehovah's Witness. I can talk to people, and I always tell people, I'm not a Christian counselor, but honey, when I need to use the Bible, I can use it.
There you go.
I can use it. I can use it and it can help you. So I don't kind of like place myself in a box of, I'm a Christian counselor, I'm just a therapist for people of color, just therapist for LGBTQ. Like, I take anybody, everybody.
And I think people have to realize boxes is for your grandma's church hat.
Yep.
For your Christmas decorations. Boxes are not for people. And I really believe that's what's led to the mental, I don't know if there's really a mental health crisis or if there's a mental health awakening that's going on in the world. I don't know.
I think it's an awakening. I think that's what happened with 2020. I said 2020 forced, because I literally quit my job August 6th of 2020 and just decided to do the practice full time. I had 70 clients by September. It was just people just coming. And I said what 2020 kind of did was it forced people to stop and slow down.
Yeah.
Then when you stop and you slow down, you have to look at everything around you and look at yourself. And a lot of people didn't like what they saw.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that.
They didn't like what they saw. So it was kind of like okay, let me go talk to somebody. Let me go get some help.
I don't think everybody paused long enough. I don't think that pause button was long enough for some folks, but
honestly, I'm like, could the world shut down for maybe like 2 more months? Like just 2 months. Let's get that little, it was a nice.
I think some people paused too long and some people didn't pause enough. That's another conversation.
I'm like, that was a time where everybody got to just actually slow down and kind of work on themselves, work on their marriage, work with their children, like get back to where we actually have conversations with each other.
Now, some of these conversations, now I am what I love to call a conversationalist voyeur. I like to lurk in conversations. Mm-hmm. And it all ties back for those who are trying to figure out where we're going. So just walk with us a little bit. I find that some of these conversations, people are like purging.
Yeah.
But after you purge, you need to pause. And then it's like purge and pause, but the pause ain't there.
The pause isn't there. The reflection of, okay, what just transitioned right now?
Yes.
What did I purge out? But like, don't go back to your vomit again. That's the part.
That's the part. And that's the part where the therapist comes in at. And I think what's happening is people have been going to social media, and social media can be a viable tool.
Can be.
But I think what's happening is people, unfortunately, everybody has access to social media, and they're using social media to amplify their purging, but there's no pausing, and now they're, sorry for the vulgar image, lapping up their purge. Mm-hmm.
Going right back to the vomit. Going right back to the vomit. And you got people in there like kind of enticing and egging it on and kind of, yeah. And you got people in there, everybody, social media and the word my nerves. I have clients coming in talking about, I think I have a borderline personality disorder.
self-diagnosing.
So I've been seeing you how long? Who told you that? Well, I seen on TikTok. I said, you know what? I said, well, I just went to school, all this school for nothing, huh? Some random person on TikTok. Everybody's a narcissist. Everybody has borderline. Everybody got bipolar. I said, Lord, I wish y'all. I said, there's criteria. There's criteria people have to meet.
Everybody's toxic. Everybody is.
Everybody's dumping. I'm getting rid of this one. And if everybody toxic, maybe it's you. Maybe.
I'll even go here. I told somebody, I was on somebody's live on TikTok. I said, you know what the problem is? Everybody's trauma bonding.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You don't bond it with somebody's trauma to the point you believe it happened to you. And I believe it's tripped over into the business world. You believed you failed and you ain't did a blessed thing.
And a lot of people don't realize, they think they can just, and that's another thing when 2020 happened. It was kind of like everybody went into business for themselves.
Yes.
And people kind of like not really knowing what's behind the scenes that you got to deal with.
Yes.
Yeah.
And everybody be a consultant. And everybody ran out to be a consultant. And I was like, do y'all know y'all need to pay your own taxes? You need to worry about your own Social Security.
Oh, we ain't going to talk about that. That's not talking. That's trauma. Okay, we're not going to mention them people. That's what people don't understand. That IRS hit you. Yeah.
But I make more money. I said, do you really?
Do you really?
I said, because let's break this down. When I got finished breaking it down, I said, now, are you making more money or are you making less money? I said, do the math. If the math ain't mathing, you better go get you a W-2. And if you're not willing to do what it takes, I said, because let me tell you, this business thing, I'm a business owner, and I just put in my 4 or 5 applications the other day because I got tired of myself. But then after I put in them applications and I went on that job interview, I said, let me go on back over here and find me some clients because they got on my nerves. So let me go on back over here and fill out this RFP and have this discovery call because I already know if I got hired, they're going to get on my nerves. So let me go on over here.
Yeah, I thought about it. Trust me.
That's what you call about being in business.
And I'm sitting here like, well, I thought it worked 8 full hours. I can't take a nap in between clients. What? Girl? Can't go get my nails done in between clients? No. I was like,
I can't go volunteer at my kids' school.
I can't dress. And I dress this sweat hoodie, might be my gym clothes. I kind of like dismissed that whole whitewashed theory of how therapy should be. It's kind of like my clients feel very comfortable with me. I'm not like sitting there stoic with a suit and tie and like, well, how does that make you feel? You know, I'm more of the like the hood therapist. Like,
did she really say hood
therapist? Yeah, I'm like trap therapist. Yep.
She say trap therapy. Oh my Lord.
I had one client, they said, they were just going, I said, so basically, you just created a scenario that just didn't even exist yet. And they were like, so you telling me that I'm creating my own anxiety? I said, pretty much. And they was like, I got to pay you for that shit? I said, pretty much. Hit the Cash App, ding. Then they felt, I'm one of those therapists. My clients are like real comfortable with me. Like, that's how the atmosphere I want to create. Because I've been to therapists before, they all stuffy and, I don't feel comfortable telling you. Because I'm getting ready to tell you some of my most intimate things in my life. I need to know that I feel super comfortable with you. That you're not judging me, that you're not, going to like look at me all like, oh my,
Now, how do you find a therapist like that?
It's a hit and miss sometimes. It's kind of, my first therapist was a white lady. She was nice. I think it was just like the building she was in, I didn't feel comfortable with. She gave me some nice tools to work with. Okay. Then I had a black therapist, woman, phenomenal. She was like one of them Erykah Badu type, like vibing. So wonderful. Then I didn't have a therapist for a while. Got another one. She was stuffy. I was like, nah. And then I just by chance got a hold of my therapist, and I said, let me choose a male. Because I need somebody. I need that I'm alpha. I need an alpha. I need somebody that can tell me just like it is. So, and I've been with my therapist for about maybe 3 years now.
Okay.
And he tells me he gave it to me. He gave it to me. I'll be like, all right, you right.
So is there like a I don't want to say tips and tricks, but or there's like a way to kind of guarantee, if you want to use that word, that the therapist you choose will be a better fit for you?
And I always tell people, don't be scared to fire your therapist. Just say, this ain't working. Don't be scared to do that. If it's not a fit, it's not a fit. Yeah, don't be terrified to say, oh, well, I started. If you bust in there and that energy ain't right, the minute you walk in or the minute you have your first session, do a session, maybe two. If it's not sitting with you, find another one.
Yeah, I say the same thing about hiring a coach or hiring a mentor. I don't care what agreement you sign. If it's not right, it's not right.
It's not right, yeah.
Especially you paying $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 in these streets, and that person isn't the right one.
Yeah,
I ain't about to pay you $50,000 and you're not the one.
And you're not the one. Yeah, I always tell people, don't be scared to kind of fire the therapist. It's okay. And I'm not a good fit with everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that. Not everybody cup of tea, but somebody want to take a sip. So that's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about the situation. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I've maintained and had enough clients, so I was like, somebody like doing some good somewhere.
Now, you're in the New Jersey area. Are you accepting clients?
No, I can't tell you. Yeah.
Now, for anybody listening in the New Jersey area, yes.
I do have a list of therapists, other therapists that some are accepting new clients. And what I really want to try to do is get together, like, especially like in this South Jersey area, Mount Laurel, Sicklerville, all that, like therapists where we can kind of like, okay, we might have a once a month meeting. Are you taking clients? What insurances you take? Do you take this?
Okay.
So my list can get bigger. Because I do feel guilty turning people down. I really do. That's what I struggle with.
Okay.
Because I don't want people to feel like they're hopeless.
Okay. We can kind of pull together some resources. And you're in the New Jersey area. I'm located in North Carolina, so I can kind of pool around down here and come up with some resources that I can post on my website that, my listeners can go to if they want to reach out. I'm not going to say if, that they should reach out to once a week, once a month at minimum, but at least weekly, it's the recommendation.
And even especially our men of color, like especially them. Like I'm so happy that I have like men, I got men of color. Like I'm like, yay, come to therapy. Yay. I'm like, yay.
I'm just glad that we are seeing this embracing of mental health. We're seeing a holistic embracing of self-care. We see that we have to take care of our spiritual selves, our physical selves, our emotional selves, our mental self. this whole we only need to take care of one part of ourselves was always nonsense.
And there are times I have had sessions with my clients about finances. I've had clients that didn't know how to use a credit card, didn't know how to do this. Session been about finances. Sessions, sometimes I've had a session where I help them get food stamps.
Oh, wow.
I'm a social worker. There's LPCs, and I know if there's some LPCs out there, I don't care, gang, we about to fight. LCSWs, we encompass the whole person. Biopsychosocial, is it your medical? Is it your environment? Is it the people you're around? I always say you can't do cognitive behavioral therapy with somebody that's hungry. You can't. They can't reach self-actualization, that Maslow's hierarchy, if their first level of safety and food and shelter hasn't been met. My stomach's growling. I'm not talking about my feelings and CBT and DBT and all. I'm not doing that. I'm hungry. Feed me first. And I always say I help clients with trying to get, I give them referrals for, okay, go to welfare, do this. Go here and do this. Oh, here's a grant for this. Call these people. They could do that. Because that's their basic need. If your people's basic need hasn't been met, they can't reach self-actuals. They can't be sitting on a mountain meditating. They're not. So basic needs have to be met first.
I am loving this conversation. I'm going to have to bring you back. We're going to have to pick this up at another time. Oh, my goodness. So this is the conclusion of this part of our mental health conversation on contract compensation.
I would gladly.
Y'all heard it here. She's coming back.
I am coming back.
So we're going to wrap up this installment of the importance of mental health. I'm telling you, a stressed mind cannot create.
Yes.
So if you're wondering why your business isn't going anywhere, if you're wondering why you're spinning, mental health. You have to check in with your mental health. So this is Luciana Turner. We're closing out this installment of Contractors Conversation. Have an amazing, amazing day, and catch us on the next time.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us.
All righty.
And hello, welcome to this edition of Contractors